The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki.
Hello, here I am. Welcome to the podcast. This is Nikki Glaser Podcast. I'm Nikki Glaser. I'm here with my boyfriend, Chris Convey. We're in Los Angeles, California. What's everyone laughing? What's happening?
Nikki Glaser
I'm not
Podcast.
laughing.
Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Well, I was feeling really low end before we started, and I just decided, I was leaning back in my chair as the show was starting, and I was like, be professional, bitch. And so then it snapped into talking way too fast. And I need to find some happy medium, I want to be a professional, but I want to be authentic. And I want people to be able to understand what I say.
It sounds like you're auditioning to be a game show host.
And welcome to the Nikki Glaser Podcast. Yeah, that's pretty good. I am kind of. That would be a sweet gig. Welcome to the show. Chris Convey is here with me in California, and Anya and Brian, Frangie, Anya, Marina, Brian, Frangie are here. Noah is here as well. The whole gang is together.
I invented a game show.
You did?
Yeah, I did. And then it was stolen from me. And then I actually went and auditioned for it to be a contestant. And I didn't get on.
What?
And I was like, I made this show.
Wait a second. What is the show?
Oh, it's a show, and it can also be a party game for your friends and family to play at events or parties, I guess. It's called Lincoln Words. And it's, I kind of forgot how to play it, but you start off with a word. And this is before, if you heard of this game, this is before, I came up with this before you heard of it. Okay. This was 10 years ago. But also there might be another game from the 70s that's very similar. But you start with a word, and compound words like trash chute or garbage truck, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So you start off with a word, and then you have like a Wordle type board, and you have 5 chances to get to
another word.
To get to another word.
That's cool. Lincoln Words. I don't like the name.
It's called Lincoln Words.
Because it makes me think we're going to talk about Abraham Lincoln. And that bores me, and I don't want to see that show. But I do like, this game is really fun. We should play this sometime.
It's a fun game, and I have a bunch of rules.
That's exciting.
Randy,
you have to spin a 34-sided die. And
what are the rules? What could the rules be?
Well, one of the rules is if you're in a circle, like if you're playing catchphrase or something like that, you're in a circle. If you're in a circle, and you try to think of a Lincoln word, if the person, you try to think of a Lincoln word, and then the person, if you can't think of a Lincoln word, then you can say...
Hold on. How are you spelling Lincoln?
Linkin.
Like Linkin Park.
Okay.
Yeah, like Linkin Park. If you can't think of a Lincoln word
one way
because you think that the previous word is too difficult to link with, then you can say challenge. And then the person before you has to then come up with the Lincoln word. And if they can't come up with a Lincoln word, then they lose because they gave you a shitty word to link with.
So then you tried out for this game. Was the game stolen from you, or is it like the idea that Elizabeth Gilbert has where if you don't capitalize on your ideas, they will find someone else's brain and find a way out?
Yeah, Elizabeth Gilbert, definitely. I mean, I didn't have any means to capitalize on this. It's not like if you come up with a game show, you can just go to Merv Griffin.
You said it was stolen from you, so I didn't know if it was a real thing. Because the other day you did tell me of a show that was seemingly, you pitched a show, and then a show came out on that same network that was so similar to your idea.
Yes, I can talk about that.
Yeah, please. It's insane. This is insane.
In 2017 or something, or 2018, I pitched a show to Fox called Models on Mars. It was an animated narrative show that the premise of the show was there is a producer who pitches a reality show called Models on Mars where they would take 20 influencers or celebrities and fly them to a recently abandoned Mars colony on Mars. And they do a reality show in a big house on Mars and they have to do all these Mars challenges.
Wait, I have a dumb question.
Okay.
But don't make fun of me. Is it a reality show or is it a mock reality show?
This is a cartoon.
This is an animated narrative.
And they can't go to Mars yet.
Wait, why is Anya laughing? I don't even understand.
Because I think Anya is questioning, is this really going to happen?
Yeah.
And the answer is no.
I mean, we're on our way, so it's not the dumbest question.
Okay, so in this world, there was a Mars colony constructed that did not happen yet in real life, and then it was abandoned because the public will didn't want to pay the taxes anymore. So they abandoned this Mars colony, and then this production company came in and decided to take advantage of it by putting a reality show in the colony there. So it's a colony with all science shit, but then they removed all the science shit and replaced it with like an underground pool and a foam pit and stuff.
Okay.
So they fly all of these models to Mars with a small skeleton production crew, and then on the way to the Mars colony, the nuclear apocalypse happens on Earth, and everybody dies. And so this small production company and 20 of the worst people in human existence, influencers and stuff like that, are responsible for repopulating the human society on Mars and also surviving without any help. So I pitched that show. People said, "Oh, it's such a great idea. I love you, Bri. You're the best. You're so funny. We're definitely going to make this."
And then Matt
of
Damon
course-
shows up in The Martian, and that is what someone stole his idea. No.
So 3 days later, you get an email that says, "Oh, we actually hate you. Fuck you." And then you
Is
don't
that what
get
happens? You get an email? Because sometimes I feel like they just don't ever tell you.
Yeah.
it.
God, they love telling you how great you are in the room, though, don't they?
That's the Hollywood hello.
Yeah.
So so this year, as some of you may know, Fox,
Because I advertised it on this podcast.
Yes, Nikki
You
voice
did? I
ads
didn't
for
even
it.
know that.
Yes.
I did reads for this.
Fox comes out with a reality show called, what's it called?
Stars on Mars.
Stars on Mars.
Stars
What?
on Mars. Was a real reality show. It's not an animated narrative show. It's a reality show where they made some Mars colony mock-up, and they're taking celebrities and influencers and putting them in a big house and forcing them to survive on quote-unquote Mars.
It's
And so-
hosted by
But where is it
the guy
really?
from
Like
Star Trek.
Tarzana?
Mm.
I don't know, but yeah,
Who
it's
knows?
hosted by...
It's just like a mock-up of. I haven't seen it yet, but I did see one clip of it where because I just couldn't believe this headline, and it was like Lance Armstrong gets into a fight with Ariel Winter, or like the girl from she was like the younger sister in Modern Family, like the smart
Yeah.
one.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Lance Armstrong is in a screaming fight with her on Stars on Mars.
What?
Because he's like, I'm leaving. And she's like, this isn't what it's about. And all these people are like, you need to stay. We came here as a group. Like, it's like desperate. Like, and he's just like
Yes.
so intense. And it was like, it actually looked really good. Stars on Mars. Check it out on Fox.
It's hosted
So
by
that was
William
my idea
Shatner.
to parody, because the
yeah,
idea
William
of that
Shatner was on
reality
it.
show was
was
so
hosted by
ridiculous. Yeah, William
William
Shatner's the
Shatner
host.
is 90-something years old.
You still got it.
Jesus Christ. What did you feel when, like, do you think they stole it? What's the parallel thought? What do you think is going on there?
I think for that, I mean, I don't think it was stolen. I just think it was the
Here's my
reason why
question.
I was able to come up with the parody idea for the reality show, because I thought that things are so ridiculous now that this is a realistic possibility, and that's why it was a good pitch, because I thought it could happen. But then 4 years later, it did happen, although they fudged it because it's not really on Mars. But
Well,
I think that's
my
why.
question is, how did you miss out on the title Stars on Mars?
Yes.
Because your season isn't even all, it was models and influencers and a mix of people, but you liked the alliteration more than the rhyme.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for alliteration. But that's not the only time that a show that I pitched was then made. I mean, it happens
Do you have
all
protection
the
against
fucking
this?
time.
No.
No protection at all. And for people like me, it's like I'm a fucking nobody going in there with my dumb idea. There's nothing stopping them from just taking the idea and, running with it. Like, Kevin Costner has this app out now where I forgot what it's called, but it's like an app where it's a location-based storytelling app, where you put this app on your phone and then you get to a certain location and then it tells you a story based on where you're standing, based on whatever historical or informational stuff, like sort of like a walking tour.
Fiction or nonfiction?
It's called
It's,
Audio with AUTIO.
Yeah, Autio.
That's
I'm pretty sure it's
terrible.
nonfiction, but anyway, I had that idea too. I pitched that around. Nobody fucking wanted to give me money for it. And then I in 2014, I created a cartoon called Illuminati Incorporated
Oh, yeah,
based
great
on my
cartoon.
experiences with my podcast that I had for 7 years. I even made shorts for Illuminati Incorporated, and the premise of the show was a workplace comedy that takes place in the Illuminati, and it was about the minutia of a corporation, but starring the creatures that were in charge of running this shadow government. And I even made episodes of that cartoon, and I put it out on Dan Harmon's little contest project,
101?
Channel 101.
Yeah.
And I won first place 3 times in a row. And then I pitched it. I pitched it to Adult Swim. This was before Netflix existed. But then 2 years ago, I was still doing voiceover auditions for animation stuff. I received the sides for a show that like sounds quite a lot like Illuminati Incorporated. And here I am reading sides for some lizard person for this show that I was like, this feels a lot like Illuminati. It's like a workplace comedy. And then 2 years later, Netflix comes out with a good show, which is even more upsetting, called Inside Job, which was a workplace comedy that takes place at an animated workplace comedy that takes place in Illuminati headquarters, which, FYI, not the most original idea anyway. So it's just a matter of time before someone came out with it. But it sucks because I pitched the show in 2014. They said, this is a shitty idea. You're dumb. And we want to cut your head off. And then 4 years later, they're like, this is
Hollywood
an amazing
goodbye.
idea.
Yeah.
2 seasons.
This is
Does this-
unreal.
Does this happen to you, Anya, in the
Yeah.
songwriting world?
I mean, it happened to Matt. Matt has a song that is very similar to a Morgan Wallen song. I was just thinking about it. Do you want me to play you a little of it back to back?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is Matt's song from Matt Pond, PA, released years before the Morgan Wallen song that I'll play you. Let me fast forward to. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Okay, so that's pretty. That's something you'll
It's
remember.
a good song.
Yeah.
And now
it's great.
His
here's
voice
here's
is so
the Morgan
good.
Wallen song. So that's a very similar progression.
Yeah.
Is
Ah.
anything
That sounds
less
very similar.
authentic than country music?
It's,
With this kind of country music, I mean, this guy's putting on a voice like you wouldn't believe. I mean, that's not.
You
how
heard the
do
Bo
it.
Burnham country music
it's the
song?
best
Pandering, it's
thing
incredible.
ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
If people haven't listened to the Bo Burnham Pandering
it's
after
it's,
this podcast, look it up.
It's my
Pandering.
favorite thing, I think, ever.
Country
comedically.
music fans and people that aren't country music, people that hate country music, everybody should listen to this.
It's so funny. It's
No
just,
shirt.
no shoes, no Jews.
jeans.
You didn't hear that.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And it's like he just like I walk and talk like a field hand, but the jeans I'm wearing cost $3,000. And he goes, there's a little line where he just like, I hate dirt. Like he's just talking about being like, I talk about coming from towns I'd never go to. I always have the beer can with the label face and now it's all about, and the whole song is like, I could speak in Mandarin. You know I'm pandering. And it's just, and then he gets rapey. It's really funny.
And then he makes a bunch of money from it.
That's disturbing. That
Those two songs sound very similar. That's the future. That's when that's what happens when you plug stuff into AI. That's what it's all going to be. It's going to be like, well, that
Right.
song sounds a lot like these 3 songs mashed together. What the fuck's that? That's the future. We're going to be dealing with that
what I
constantly
think
now
is
in this
happening
hellscape that we live in.
is I don't think I can't imagine an artist is dumb enough to just take an artist that maybe no one has heard, that like a B track from an old album, and just copy it. I think their producers do that though. You know,
Yeah.
like when I
I
got
was
nothing to
thinking,
give
yeah.
Morgan tomorrow, let me just pull this old CD that I found and take this thing. This guy probably will never even listen to a Morgan Wallen song. He'll never know this thing. And this is already a Morgan Wallen B track or whatever. Like no one's going to hear this one. And because that's the thing that I said about Carlos Mencia when I
Yes.
said that people were, he stole people's jokes. The people that were writing for him stole people's jokes. Not that I'm saying Morgan Wallen's not capable of it. I'm just like, I just think would be so insane for an artist to actually steal. But it, stranger things.
What about
have
in
happened.
Brian's case, where it's like big Hollywood studios?
I
Kevin
think you can
Costner.
just hide, because there's no name on that. You can just hide behind one of the producer. Like it's just, and yeah, I think that happens way more with when there's
Well,
not.
I
like
don't think that Stars on Mars was a ripoff. I don't think Fox. I think Fox heard both pitches, and they probably hear similar pitches all the time. But it's not like the execs at Fox were
there's not-
like, "We have an idea for a show." If someone came to them and said, "We have an idea for a show," Stars on Mars pitched it to them, and even though it was very similar to my idea, they somehow thought that theirs was good.
And it's not like every single idea goes to Billy Fox. Like these are animation department is different than the reality department. Like it's not like they all report to some meeting.
But I do know that
trade ideas.
this idea did go to Billy Fox, and
I'm
ignored
always
it.
on the side of parallel thought. Like whenever someone's like, I heard this girl do a joke of yours, I always go, it's probably parallel thought, because there's not that many ideas out there. I've seen it happen so many fucking times. I mean, especially with most of the comics accused of stealing. If I could give any advice to people, if you see someone accused of stealing, it most likely didn't happen, and it's parallel thought. They might also be a shitty person on top of that, and they might like not care that a joke that they like. You guys heard me say the other day, Mark Maron did a joke that I was like tossing around in my head, but now it's done. Like I'm not going to touch that now because he's already done it, and I can't even put my own little spin on it because I saw him do it, and it just feels icky to me. So that should stop a lot of people. But the other night I was on stage and I did my joke about Susan Boyle, and it just did not go over well. And I was just like, ugh, all right, that's weird. And then the next day, this comedian wrote to me and she was like, hey, I went right before you last night and I did a joke about Susan Boyle. And I think that's why the audience was a little like off on that one. And I was like, oh my God, this is so why you should watch someone before you, because so often you talk about the exact same things and you'll be making like a different point about it. So, or the same point, and the audience is just confused because the audience thinks you watched the show.
The MC is
you
like, it's
100%
Susan Boyle
don't.
night tonight. Yeah, all the comics are going to be doing a riff on this.
But I'm making a point that we only like Susan Boyle because she can sing a lot. Otherwise, we think she's trash because she's old and ugly and no one wants to fuck her. So there's no chance she would be famous unless she had a good voice. She's worthless to us. But her point was, we only like her because we feel bad because she's ugly. And so I think that was her point. So she sent me the joke. She was really sweet. Jessica Michelle Singleton. She sent me her joke and was like, I'm so sorry, dude. Like she's so funny and so nice. And so I was like honored that she even had like kind of the same premise, because I really like love her comedy. But it wasn't the same. So I was like, oh good, I can still do mine. She can still do hers. We just shouldn't do them on the same show back to back. And then the other night I did a joke about not wanting kids and like all the reasons I think it's like doesn't make sense to have kids or whatever, just doing my whole bit. And then Andrew Schultz gets up right after me, not having seen my act, and goes, my wife and I are trying for kids, and everyone just starts cracking up. And he goes, why is that funny? He like got mad at them. He's like, why'd you laugh at that? Like he did not understand. And they want to tell him like, because she just said, don't do that. And she made it pretty, I was proud of them laughing because obviously I made a good point.
Yeah.
They were all like, that would be absurd.
They're like, sucker.
All right, we have to go to break. We'll come back right after this with Marshall. All right, we're back. So Anya, you just told us that Matt got skunked.
Oh my God. He told me a few days ago I was in California.
That's when Morgan Wallen steals your song.
Yeah. And Morgan Wallen commits plagiarism. He got skunked in the South. That's what we call it. Yeah, I was in California and I just ignored the text. And then the next, he said, Willa and I got skunked. And then I went to bed and forgot about it immediately. And the next day, he's like, I guess you didn't read your text. I'm like, I did. What? What did I miss? He's like, Willa and I got skunked. It was a huge deal. I'm like, what does that even mean? He's like, we got sprayed by a skunk. And they're always hiking and in the woods. So I didn't think anything of it. Evidently, late at night, they went out to the backyard. And Willa was rummaging around with something back there. And then the motion light sensor goes off. And Matt sees this little baby skunk. And she's like, she's like a hunting dog. So she's in there with that. And he's like, Willa, stop. And he starts yelling, skunk at the top of his lungs. She doesn't speak English.
Yeah, she's been trained. so proficiently just for that exact move.
I know. And he doesn't want the skunk to get hurt, not even thinking this thing is about to happen. The
Has
skunk
a
raises
lethal weapon in its asshole.
raises its tail, and Matt's like, it was so disgusting. Just like a full on straight stream right in her nose and her eyes, all over her face. And then he grabs her to get her away from the skunk, doesn't want the skunk to get hurt. And then the skunk sprays him.
Oh, no.
So they're just covered in this skunk jizz.
Oh, whoa. Wait, do they still smell?
The whole house smells, dude, and it's been a week. Like,
Yeah.
and anytime you wet the dog, he's bathed her 3 or 4 times, like followed all the instructions online. Of course, I was like, tomato juice, because that's what I heard in the 70s. By the way, I just want to say, please, besties, nobody write to me. I know that I fucked up on yesterday's podcast and we dropped the atomic bomb in 1945, not the 60s, which is what I said.
I mean, I didn't catch it.
Confused it with Vietnam. And now I'll probably get that wrong. I don't know.
Vietnam was like late 60s.
60s.
Yeah.
Thank
into
you.
the 70s.
Yeah, the World War II was 1973. So the atomic bomb, I believe,
No,
ended.
I'm so stupid. I was trying to work on a joke the other day about how, you know, how we get, we'll get back to the skunk, but how we get mad at like young people when we're like, you've never heard of Goonies? Like, it's like, yeah, they weren't alive.
Yeah.
Why would, like, I've been
know.
shamed my whole life. Like, you've never seen, what's it? There's like,
Three's Company.
yes, stuff like that. You don't know who the Fonz is? It's like, yeah, I didn't exist then, bitch. And also, I don't watch black and white films or whatever the fuck. But, so I might make a joke about how, like, you know, I even have those instincts sometimes when kids are like, who's Urkel? And I'm like, you don't know who Urkel is? And it's like, no. And like, I don't know what. Like, I wanted to make some point of like, and I don't know when World War II was because like the argument being I wasn't around then, but it's really because I'm stupid.
Wasn't paying attention in
I
history.
wasn't paying attention when I was young.
That day in class.
Yes, yes, that one day. You have one day to learn so many
certain things. I have a friend who he thinks he was sick the day they taught Roman numerals, and he's got no idea.
That's so funny.
I never had a geography class because I went to a one-room schoolhouse. And never in my education did anyone teach us geography. No cap. I'm like, how did you guys miss that in your
That's
curriculum?
why I got a shower curtain with the world on it. So when you are on the toilet, you can learn things. But Brian has all the 198 countries memorized.
I can name all the countries. Yes, that's right.
That's all the
Burkina
countries
Faso?
that exist?
Can you do
Yeah,
that
I can
one?
even name Burkina Faso. Yeah, I got that one.
Noah and Anya, how many countries do you think there are in the world right now?
198.
I just said
I think
it,
we
right?
did this already.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And no, but here's another question that we did last night that is so fun that Brian has all the stats for. How many World War II survivors, because it did happen in 1968. Veterans, sorry. How many veterans of World War II are alive today? And let's just say when World War II ended, there were 16 million. Was that right, Brian?
That's correct. Yes.
16 million survivors veterans alive of World War II when it ended. How many are there today? And how many? And then there's a
I
follow-up
would say like
question.
a
that's really-
handful.
so a
I would
handful
say
being
not a lot.
like 20? There were again 16 million, and it
zero.
ended in 1945. Is that the right
And
date?
FYI, just to clarify, this is Americans. We're not talking about the whole world here. We're talking about
16 million Americans were alive in
Yeah.
1945, and they had just fought in the war. They were probably in their 20s. You know,
so
let's think
zero.
about that. So 20s plus
83.
they're in their 90s now.
Isn't
Yeah,
it
so
83
it's
years?
like
90s or 100s?
100 or less.
Okay,
100
Anya,
or less.
I'm going to say 0.
0.
Chris,
No such thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because it's been
I feel like I just
83
saw
years.
something where like one of the last ones just died, or maybe there was some other war. I'm just gonna say under 50.
Brian.
The correct answer is, well, as of 2022, that's what the Veterans Affairs
Yeah, but we'll do
statistics
the
are.
math in just a second.
As of 2022, there are 167,284 World War II veterans alive.
What?
And every day, 180 die.
Yeah, every day.
So if you do 180 times 365 times, you get about 60-something thousand. Subtract that from the
180. That's 65,700.
So you subtract that from the number you just said, and that's how many are probably alive right now.
You have about 100,000 left.
All right.
And every day, 200 of them, about 200 die.
Probably
so
that number probably goes up too.
It goes up every year.
Well, no, maybe
yes.
it goes down. I don't know if it would go up or go down because they're getting older, but there's also less of them. So like you can't continuously have 180 die because eventually it's like we don't have enough to do 180.
No, the dying would keep happening. It's not like
But
the number would slow down.
It would keep happening at a greater rate. They're going to start
Right, 'cause as you get
more are going
older,
to
you
start
get
dying
sicker.
per
Yeah,
day.
the number is going to go up. The number won't go down, Brian.
But with the main if the main number
The
the
percentage will go
100,000
down.
goes down.
Yeah.
You think, okay, so always that number 180, but eventually it's going to go down because it's like, well, now there's only 3,000 of you.
Oh, because
so
there's no, it will
There's
go
not
down
enough.
when there's 12 left because it can only
Yeah.
be 12 dying every day. So it will
That's
go
right.
down
That's what I'm trying
when
to
there's
say.
less than 250 or whatever it is.
Yeah, but the reason that stat's remarkable to me is because, like your guys' guesses, I felt like that was incredibly high. I can't believe
So
there's over
high.
160,000
But
people
when you
out there who were
think about
fighting in the war.
16 million and you think about how many people reach to their hundreds, what percentage? You would say maybe like 2% of people get into their 90s, I would think. You know?
Well, in
I
America,
don't know. I have no idea.
What age do you guys want to live to? Like if you could pick it. Do you want to live
immortal?
forever? What?
Yeah. Infinite years?
Noah's age, 700, 900.
Good question. I would always say as old as I can if I'm healthy, but you can't stipulate that.
My grandma's 92 and she's still cracking jokes.
Yeah.
Pretty sharp. If you could be a little bit like that, I think.
Yeah, well, you
seems
have to
like
have
fun.
that going for you. You
Yeah.
can't be,
Yeah.
if you have a disease or something, that makes it a lot
Just
different.
worried no one's going to visit. Like no one will give a shit about me then. And I just don't want to be alone in a nursing home and having like nurses be like, oh, she's one of our favorites. Like I just don't want to be one of the nurses' favorites. And that's like the only people that care about me. And then I die and they all go, oh, she died. That's what they get just in the break room. They go, really? Oh.
Nikki?
And then like no
And
one.
then they go back to social
Yeah, they
media.
get, yeah.
and they start like
Whatever
swiping
they're-
on.
They start swiping with their
tincture or
eyes.
whatever. Yeah.
Their eyes in their head. God, what will it be like?
Here's a stat. According to the SOA, which I don't know what that is, that could mean the shitty
Society of old ass people.
liars. Yeah. A
Okay.
non-smoking 65-year-old male in excellent health today has a 43% probability of living to age 90.
Whoa.
A similar 65-year-old female has a 54% probability of living to age 90.
if they
Women
never
be living.
smoked or if they don't smoke now.
It just says non-smoking. So I'm assuming, I think after like 10 years, your lungs completely regenerate.
My
so I'm
mom's
assuming,
lungs are
Yeah.
golden. She's
Really?
and she smoked
That's a
for
problem. She
30
needs to have that checked out.
She smoked for 30 maybe 40 years or something, and her lungs now look great. Not to say that if you're smoking right now, like don't go, well, I could just quit later, it'll be fine. Like it'll get you.
There's a picture of Julie Glaser in her either late 20s or early 30s that is so hot. And I think she's with you, Nikki. And there's like a blanket or a skirt or something like flying in the wind over her. And I think she has a cigarette. And it looks like the coolest Virginia Slims ad ever. She's like tan
Yes.
and sexy. And she has like a little baby next to her. I think it's Nikki.
Yeah, it's me.
And it's just like, I want to
She was in her
smoke.
late 20s. I know. She made it look cool. My mom would always like just be sitting in a chair. And I mean, I grew up like seeing my parents doing this all the time and it looking like cool.
Yeah.
It still
There was
gets
a-
Still looks cool. It's
In
just
Auschwitz-
really
it looks
bad.
cool to me. Yeah.
One of the videos in Auschwitz, one of the Holocaust survivors was
Yes.
smoking a cigarette. I was like, this woman is so cool.
Yeah.
She's smoking a cigarette, being like, and then the Germans, they came and we weren't surprised. And, and it's
They
like,
all
holy
had
shit.
great lipstick and great hair done. You could tell they got really coiffed for their interview. I really want to know what that movie was that they were showing us because I said it yesterday. I go, Why don't we all just go watch that movie? That seems like that would be very important for us to all do. Was
You
it the
haven't
Ken
seen
Burns?
Holocaust 2.0?
The Ken Burns documentary, the four-part
I don't know if
thing?
it was Ken Burns. It seemed way older.
Oh,
But it was like interviews with all these survivors.
Steven Spielberg interviewed a whole bunch of survivors, and if you go
It
to
might have
like
been that.
the Holocaust Foundation, they have like you could hear like everyone's story that he was able to contact.
It might have been that. Okay.
Man, the end. Okay.
Yeah, no.
never mind.
What was
No.
Wait, the end
Wait,
of what?
Schindler's List.
No, what was that?
Have you seen
Spoiler alert.
No, but I heard a Louis C.K. joke the other day about it.
it? People have got to
Bye,
be watching.
Jews. Have you heard that joke?
No.
So he
Oh,
has
yeah.
this amazing joke about, sorry to always just be quoting Louis C.K., but that's all I'd be doing lately. But he has a joke about the little girl in red in the movie when they're being round up and they're coming to get them. And there's this one little German girl who's like, bye, Jews. Bye, Jews. And he's like, oh, it's just a crazy scene you're watching. You're just like, oh my God. And then he's like, that means they had to like audition that role. That means that there's a tape somewhere with a bunch of adorable girls going, bye, Jews. And like he does all the impressions of these little girls. And then I looked up the girl that did that, was that role. And she is the lead from Smallville.
Wow.
Oh,
Something Appleby. Sherry Appleby or something like
Oh,
that.
Sherry Appleby?
Oh.
Yes,
I mean,
that was her.
Appleby
get outta
does
here.
sound like the last name of a person who would be screaming that.
What a crazy thing. I don't, if you were a parent and your child was auditioning,
Oh,
would
they don't
you?
care.
They don't
care.
fucking care.
No, if you're bringing
No.
your kids to
Not the
audition,
Applebys.
you do not
It's
care.
not, she was the star of Roswell. And also
Roswell, that's what I meant. Sorry.
that show Unreal, which was really good.
Unreal,
Oh.
yeah,
Runs
which
for a
is
few
about the
seasons.
behind the scenes of a reality show. Which,
I gotta see
I've
that.
heard from producers of reality shows. It's very, very realistic to what goes on. Okay, Skunked.
So a stream of clear, gross shit goes all over Willa. She runs into the house and immediately rubs her nose everywhere on the rug, in the couch. She's just like trying to get this stuff off. So the couch smells gross. The rug smells gross.
How
Matt,
are
can
you
describe-
not losing your fucking mind, Anya Marina?
I was in California. I didn't think he was serious. And then I don't know. I was just like, I'm sure it's fine. And he was like, it was intense. I was up till 2 a.m. washing her like over and over. The house is going to smell really bad. I'm like, I'm sure it's fine, babe. And you know what? A week later, it's pretty fine, but it does smell like Bob Marley has been in here for weeks.
Yeah, it is weird how much weed and skunk spray smell the same.
That's why it smells like, it's called skunk.
The
that's
one thing
right.
I didn't know was if you wet a dog that's been sprayed with skunk, it like reactivates. So when I got home, I'm like, she barely smells. And then Matt was away and I'm like, I'm going to wash her face off a little bit more. And I like get a damp
Anya
cloth.
notoriously washes her dog's asshole after it takes a shit. She wipes
Yeah.
it down.
Why are
Yeah,
you grimacing? That is like a thing, Chris, that you would be excited about to come into my home knowing that my dog's asshole is
Yeah, it's just
sparkling
even
clean.
thinking about it, picturing it.
Chris
doing
is
it.
not
But
someone
yeah,
who likes potty humor or any
Oh,
talk
right.
of it.
You are right about that, Anya.
You
It-
just take a paper towel like this. Like, here's my little
He
wicking
doesn't
cloth,
need
like
to-
Brian Franchi.
Okay.
And you wet it under the sink, and then you just do one of those. Just a couple, fold it over,
Well,
and do it again.
Chris
So
got
according
Jose
to
what?
the SOA, what percentage of Americans wipe their dog's butt?
4?
It helps
I
you
don't know, this is-
have
I really
longevity.
want that stat.
Wait, I just heard about longevity, by the way, and this is just me paraphrasing some stuff that I heard from Peter Attila, the doctor that everyone's wild about, who's apparently a good guy, and everyone thinks says he's reputable because he will change his research based on like he'll be like, I was saying this, but it's totally wrong. I fucked up. It's now this. But intermittent fasting does not make you live longer and does not improve your life that much.
does it help
Spread
at
the
all?
word.
but that's not what it's for.
Right.
What is it for?
I mean, I'm not an advocate for it. I don't think it's like cool or interesting, but it's not. It isn't. It isn't to live longer.
Well,
What's it
I think
for?
he was just
To
talking.
lose weight.
Yeah.
To like
Oh.
manage.
But he said the best
Because
thing
I've
is
been-
sauna.
Oh yeah,
For
that's
living long?
Mhm.
The old Norwegians, they know all about that shit. And Icelandic
Interesting.
people, they have saunas in their houses.
Mhm.
I still don't understand what a sauna is versus a steam room. I will never understand.
Sauna has no
moisture.
There's no moisture. So you're just in a hot, like basically like walking around
In Tucson.
outside today is like being in a sauna, literally.
Okay. Well, yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Also, a sauna is usually like a room with like wooden
wood,
like planks, and then a steam room. There would be a lot of tiles.
What if old
And
naked men
handjobs.
being around them is what keeps you alive
that's the
longer? What if
key.
it's a correlation?
Just being fully revolted on a long-term basis.
Hey, Brian, do you remember being young and going to certain kind of pools and like men swimming naked?
In the pool? With like a public pool?
Not a public pool.
Oh, okay.
Now that you mention it,
but there's like
it doesn't sound crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, no,
That
if
was
it's
like-
not a public pool, Chris, what kind of pool is it?
Well, it's like a club of some sort.
Okay.
But yeah, that's old men being naked in a locker room. They can't wait to be completely naked. They don't mind walking around,
Why
doing
is
whatever.
that a thing? I only know about it because comedians have talked about it. You know what I mean?
It is wild.
What is going on with old men? They can't wait to get
that's
their
true.
clothes off.
Like country clubs, golf clubs.
Why aren't nudist colonies more popular with old men then?
I don't think it's like they I don't think it's necessarily like a
exhibitionist?
fetish for that. It's just a comfort that was breeded out of us as younger men. Like,
Right.
I don't think my dad's quite like that, and like, but I'm sure all of our grandparents are.
I'm not.
Yes.
I like being naked. I don't have problems being naked. I often change in front of my hair and makeup girls. I'll change in front of Anya. Like I'll be naked in front of my girlfriends, obviously my boyfriend. But I'm not comfortable being naked because your bits and pieces are touching things, and I don't like that. And because I don't
Like what?
want. It's not like I
Towel
want,
rods
like, you know,
and
just like sitting on a duvet. Like you just don't want your. It's not that I don't want the duvet on my vagina. I don't want my vagina on the duvet.
Yeah.
That's more of it. And I don't want, and also boobs. I will never, ever relate. I try to fit in sometimes and I'll make jokes about this because I know it's such a girl thing. But let me just say right now, I don't relate to taking off a bra and feeling relief. Unless it is like a
That sounds
confining,
crazy.
dumb bra. Like, unless it's like a bra that's like too tight or doesn't fit right. Otherwise, who wants their breast meat hanging and then touching your under, like when your breast hangs, your boob touches your underskin and it's pulling down on this part of your skin and they just feel like they're sagging and there's sweat down there. I want them elevated. I want them perky. Unless I had if I had a boob job where they're just like naturally up and there's no little like
But haven't you read that thing that by keeping them in a bra the whole time, you're not
They
like
atrophy?
developing the like whatever the fibers are that
I don't
keep
care.
them?
I know I have read
It's
that.
weird that you sleep in a
What?
bra. To me, I think it's one of
Sometimes
the
I
craziest
don't
things.
anymore. I used to. I don't anymore.
But you
Because I
switched
think
to
of that.
bralettes from underwire during the time I knew you. I remember that was a big development.
Yeah, I was doing bralettes because I was like, my boobs are big enough and they're like fun enough to like, I don't need to always have like this. I don't want to lie. I kind of was on this thing of like push-up bras are lying. But now I just wear whatever stylist, like whatever I pull out of a drawer mainly. But I'd never... Even, let's just say if I do take off a bra because I just don't want to sleep in a bra because it's like maybe sleeping in a bra is just not ideal. I'm never like, long day. What is that? I understand that when you take off shoes. Shoes are fucking hell. Why aren't women talking more about the relief you get when you take off a shoe? Why is a bra so much different? Do you guys have this bra?
I barely wear bras anymore because I gained weight over the pandemic, so all my bras are like one size too small, and the cup just like squeezes right on my boob between the skin.
Yes.
So I'm like, I'm not going to spend $80 on a bunch of new bras. I'm just going to go loose.
I want to piggyback on that. I think I've gained a little weight too, and my stretch pants are digging into me. So I'm doing the with my stretch pants like every night. I'm like, why am I
do you
wearing
do
these
that with a
tight
bra?
yoga pants? If it's not like a strapless bra is so annoying to me. I'm conscious of it the whole time. By the way, want to recommend a film that I just saw. So cute. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Men and women will love it. And there's a scene where she has her first training bra and she puts it on, and her mom, played by the lovely Rachel McAdams, who's so good in this role, is like, how do you feel right now? And and the little girl's like, I can't wait to get this off. And I remember it like reminded me of the first time I wore a bra. And it is like, I remember telling my mom, I feel like a horse that just got a saddle put on it. And it's like, I can't wait to get this off.
But it's so uncomfortable when they're flapping around and like and your nipples are showing, so they're distracting to like other, like it's just not. I don't.
Well, I'm not going to the post
I feel
office.
really. This is like motherhood. I don't want it, and I don't relate to other women who do, and I don't relate to women who are like, oh, the end of the day.
Well, my cup size is a lot smaller than yours, so I don't know if I would feel the same way if I had your boobs.
But it's usually women with bigger boobs that are saying like, "Oh, the bra, my titties are free."
Why are they a Southern Belle from
every
Georgia?
woman does this, and I don't relate, and I know I'm wrong.
I
There's
didn't know
something
this.
wrong
So
with
when
me.
women take their bra off at the end of the day, they
That's why it's
turn
called a
into
bra.
a Southern debutante on the porch.
Oh, they lay on their fainting couch. They go, it's been a hot day. I can't wait. Pour me a mimosa, honey. And then they fling their bra and their boobs go from east to west. And,
Oh wow!
And
East
it
of the
doesn't look
Mason-Dixon line.
comfortable, but
I do relate
I mean, this
to
is
you.
a trope we
Another-
hear go scroll on Instagram for 3 minutes and you'll see something about a woman taking off her bra and it being relaxing. And it's just, there's some memes that you go, I don't relate to this. And then there's some memes that get you.
They get you.
But
They
do
get
you
you
relate
real
to
good.
this? Do you relate to taking off a really tight bra that's like, full on support, and then you switch into a nice
No.
comfy bralette? Or like a yoga top that has like a built-in shelf bra?
I relate to taking off uncomfortable shoes. I understand maybe women feel the way I feel in stiletto heels, but that is painful. I don't understand bras being painful. I
Maybe you
understand if
just
they're
have
like
great,
the
comfortable
wires
bras.
digging in, because sometimes the wire kind
You
of
have good
falls out
bras.
and digs in.
You have good
But haven't you
bras,
worn
that's
like
what it
pants
is.
that are
Yeah.
uncomfortable like all day
Yes.
long, and you take them off and you're like, I just feel like a new human.
Yes, but I think by and large women are wearing bras that are ill-fitting. If this is this
Yes,
is what's
this
happening.
is a PSA.
When you were like as a 12-year-old boy, the greatest feeling that you had, because this was like before you became a young man, was taking off shin guards after a soccer game.
Oh
Yeah.
That was the greatest
The
feeling a
old
young
shin
boy
guard.
had.
Oh my God!
I thought
yes.
you were gonna say when you like touched a boob.
No, it was when you were young.
Uh-huh.
That's what the feeling was. You got to take those shin guards and socks off. You were like, I feel like a new man.
Yes.
Better than sex.
Yeah. That was when
What's
you
it
became a man.
like? It's just super tight on you all day, and you're
I wore them in
restricted.
field hockey. I don't remember. Like the
Yeah, they're just sweaty and
Oh,
gross,
yeah.
and like when we were young, they were like hard as a rock. They were like popsicle sticks wrapped in duct tape.
Was there any part of
Yes.
your guys' development that was like really upsetting to you, or like, ugh, this is such a hassle? Like my balls dropped. This sucks. Or the opposite.
Body hair under your arm was humiliating to me because you would play basketball, and the jerseys all like were like tank tops or whatever, and it was felt humiliating to have hair under your arm. Like
It's
really.
all for guys, it's all hair related. It's
Yeah.
losing your hair. It's getting hair on your shoulders, hair coming out of your ears. It's all stuff like that.
The old man hair on your upper arm. It's like
Yeah, no,
like
I hate
that.
that.
weird coarse hair. You're like, I didn't have this 7 years ago.
I realize that men are embarrassed by things that we would not have expected them to be embarrassed by. We just thought it was boners. Like you guys are constantly hiding boners and they're coming up all the time and you need notebooks and like you can't get called to the front of the class. Like I remember like trying not to talk to boys because I was so worried that they would get a boner and be embarrassed because I just wanted to prevent boys from being embarrassed because
Yeah.
this thing would pop up in your pants that you couldn't control.
Yes.
That was like a rod.
You know
I
what?
couldn't
It's-
believe it.
It's been so long since I got a undesired boner.
Right.
And I forgot that was at one point in my life an issue. Like when I was in middle school or whatever.
I would go to school every day, like fearing for my life.
I had a friend.
Yeah.
You were in middle school. What was your thing, Brian?
Well, when I was in middle school, I would get those boners, and you wouldn't want to be walking around with a boner, and you had to figure out ways to cover it up with a textbook.
Or,
I
like,
took
tuck
so
it up
many
in your
AP
pants.
courses because of that. Because
No wonder he's
Cover it
so
up.
good at countries and geography. I had a friend who was at, he was like, at some department store buying clothes with his mom, which is unrelated to what occurred to him. And, at some point, like he got the thing and every guy
A
knows
mannequin.
about, yeah, probably a mannequin.
Some woman undressing a mannequin. Yeah.
And like every guy knows about like the tuck, like you
Yes.
have to,
Up in your belt.
up into your belt.
Yeah.
Tuck your
And,
penis up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does everyone do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. The guys know about it.
I
Wait,
remember learning about it in high school. That's when I learned penises go more than just a right angle. They can go all the way up. They can go
Oh.
180.
So you have to do that thing. And then he was like,
Chris Tucker.
He invented it. He was the guy who
You're
invented
Chris
it.
Tucker.
Oh, no. This guy's actually, his name is
wait.
Chris.
Wait, what happened?
Oh, really?
I feel like I know this.
So when you like, when you take off your shirt, like, and you've got a
Try on
t-shirt underneath
something?
to try something on, his mom was like helping him, like, take off a shirt so that he could try on something else. And I mean, it was just right there. And she
there
goes-
peeking out.
and she was like, "Oh, Chris."
Oh my God. I can't believe you made the story that was about you, about someone else. And you just gave it away at the end.
No, I didn't.
I'm just kidding. It's like,
Oh,
it'd be funny if
I
it
thought
was
you
you the
got
whole time, but
confused.
the guy's name was Chris, but you
no,
forgot
but
to change
that's
it.
a good way of doing it. To be like his name was also Chris, but it definitely wasn't me.
it definitely
No
it
one
was
would
not
believe
me.
you that you would. Yeah, that's a great idea because no one would believe that you would just try to change the name to your
Totally.
name.
No, that is
Yeah.
good.
Another dumb
but men
question.
also are embarrassed by jerking off until college. And
No.
in high school, it's embarrassing. And then college, it becomes like, I jerked off 7 times today, and it becomes braggy. But at first, the worst, Hannibal Buress has a bit that he hates his nephew. His nephew's always like,
Yeah.
"You're not famous, Hannibal. You're not famous enough." And he goes, "Did you just jerk off?" And his cousin just like is in high school. He goes, "Shut up!" Shut up. He goes, "You look like you just jerked off," because they always just jerked off and they're humiliated by it. But then something shifts where then you become okay about talking about jerking off. Is that true?
Yeah, that would be accurate.
That checks
Brian,
out.
is
I
that
don't
accurate
recall
for
that
you?
switch.
for
I don't
you?
recall that switch where it was all of a sudden we were bragging about our numbers in
Well,
college.
like where it wasn't the most embarrassing thing to have someone accuse you of it, you know?
Yeah, but you know what? Even it's still. I think it would still be embarrassing if someone walked in on you for sure.
Oh, yeah, well, that's a
God, yeah,
totally
that's
different
different.
story. I mean, that's
I
the
will
worst
say,
thing you could possibly imagine.
I think women need to get on board with what men were doing a little bit earlier, where they were at least acknowledging that they all jerk off. I grew up in a time where women didn't talk about it at all, even their very best friends. No one had closer best friends than I did in high school that shared literally everything, except that all my friends be jerking off and no one told me about it. So I didn't even know it was a thing you could do. I had no idea. They were teaching me how to make, pipes out of pen caps, but no one told me
you were
to
doing
just
like
rub my
you were
clit
doing
with
cat's
my...
cradle all day long.
Yes! I was making
used to
God's
jerk off
eyes
with my
and
best
fucking-
friend.
Jacob's ladder.
What'd you say,
Really?
Noah?
I used to jerk off with my best friend. That's how I learned to masturbate.
What? I need to be friends with you. Wait,
Who
how did this even
initiated it?
happen? We're all wrapped
Okay,
with
well,
attention.
Well, it's because we had access to like the Spice Channel and Playboy. So we kind of learned it from the models on there. And then her
Yeah.
mom had this back massager that we kind of put everything all together and we would take turns. But like one of us would sit in front of the room and then the other one would do it in the back. And then we would just like switch. We would just be in the same room.
And would you like orgasm?
That's
I
none of your
don't
business,
remember. I
Nikki.
think so.
I know.
I think so.
Probably. Wow. And
Yeah.
how old were you?
I mean, we were just like maybe 5th grade or something like that.
Jesus. Because I remember watching the Spice Channel in 8th grade and then 9th grade and 10th grade. Huffy and I would watch Real Sex and I would just be so horny. I couldn't even handle myself. And one time we were watching it and the couch started like moving like a little bit rhythmically. And we realized it was our friend's brother. We were on spring break and we were on a house with stilts and he and his friends were pushing the house to like make it shake because you could do that. It was on stilts. And we were both like, oh my God, this girl's humping next to me. But it was just Jay Holly doing that to the house.
both of you thought the other one
Yes,
was.
we were both, because our friends went to
That's
go,
so
we just gotten there for spring break. Kirsten and Hala went to go walk on the beach to like meet boys or something. And Huffy and I discovered that you could watch scrambled porn. And so Huffy and I were kind of the pervs, I think, of the group. And so we stayed back to watch scrambled porn. And it was just going back and forth. And I remember looking over at Huffy like, what the fuck, girl? Like, are you pulling a Noah?
How did you put it together that they were?
We both accused each other of it. Like, no,
Like,
I'm not doing it. You're doing it.
in
And
that
then
moment.
later on, Jay Holly was like, we were talking about, there was an earthquake or something last night. And he was like, it was us. We were shaking the house. And that was the time that we went to Fort Myers, Florida. And Jay Holly was Hala's little brother. He was like 4 grades below us. And we were in high school, so he was in like 8th grade, and we used to call people fucks. We'd be like, "God, he's such a fuck," and like if they were just like a little annoying or something, like that guy's such a fuck. And so for his birthday, in front of his parents, we made a birthday card. And Jay Holly right now like runs tech companies, like he's actually like a genius. And and we wrote on his birthday card, because we knew that he wouldn't know and that like no one else would know. And we got into the habit of writing these long things that would just be acronyms. And so we wrote JHITBFIAOFM. And we wrote that. And Jay Holly, so at the top of his birthday card, we wrote that. It was his birthday on spring break. And he opened up, he looks at it and he just scrolls along with his finger. Jay Holly is the biggest fuck in all of Fort Myers. And we were like, and we were busted. And the parents were like, why would you write that on his card? Is that what that means? And we were like, no. We were like, but we
You'd like make something else up.
immediately he broke our code. It was insane. We were like, oh, that's when we knew Jay was like special, because we were in Fort Myers and he knew he was the biggest fuck in all of Fort Myers. By looking at the card.
The biggest fuck and destined for greatness.
This was the same trip that we met all these like boys, and we were like, we one time we were trying to get a ride into town, and there was like a car that was blasting come my lady, come my lady, you must butterfly sugar baby. And I might have told this story before, but Hala, my friend Hala, who is Jay's older sister, pees when she laughs too hard because she was born prematurely with like a not developed like I think Kegel system. So she couldn't, once she starts peeing, the floodgates are open and there's no stopping the stream, which was proven one time when we were in high school and I was peeing and I couldn't hear what she was saying because she was in the next room and I was peeing, and I was like, I stopped my stream to go, wait, what'd you say? And she goes, what did you just do? And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, why'd you just stop? And I was like, and because then I started again. She goes, you stopped and started. And I was like, wait, you can't do that. And we discovered that was her issue. If it's open, all the pee's coming out. So Hala would start laughing and her Kegels would fail. Her pee would come out. She would have to plug it with her heel. She would fall to the ground and plug it with her heel and put her hands over her head and go, stop, you guys stop. Because we would be repeating whatever was making her laugh because we wanted her pee. And then if she stood up, the pee would all come flooding out like the only thing stopping it was her heel plugging it. So that was the only thing she had. So we got picked up by this guy. We got like a ride. It was like standstill traffic, but we were like, we want to ride in this guy's convertible. So we were like, can we hop in? And it was like, come my lady, come my lady. And Hala was in the front seat. And we were just whispering in her, and we were obsessed with the word boner at this time. So we were like, come my lady, come. And we were sitting, this guy was like so and he had no idea what these little fucks were doing in his car singing the song. But we were like, come my lady, come my lady. You my butterfly, sugar, boner. And we just kept saying that. And Hala was laughing so hard, and we knew she had peed. We knew the floodgates were open. So she looked at us like, you fucking idiots. But she was sitting, so it didn't come out yet.
Oh, no.
And then we finally get dropped off, and she unleashes all in this guy's car. He doesn't even know it yet.
God.
And so she just leaves a puddle of piss in this guy's car. He gave us a ride for like 20 feet, and we ruined it by saying, you my butterfly, sugar, boner. Because we just used to be like, don't forget your butt. We would do like a Jewish mother telling her, like, we would always be like, make sure you put a rain slicker on your boner. It's very wet outside. Don't forget to take your boner to the school dance. Like, we would just,
What the fuck?
we were obsessed with the word bona, but we spelled it B-O-N-A. We named certain guys bonas. We were like, he's such a bona.
I just love to see that guy getting home being like, those girls pissed in my fucking car.
And
What
they were
the
singing, you're my butterfly sugar boner really loud.
He
Like,
probably
what?
thought it was premeditated. Like, we're just going to ride in his car for 5 minutes, piss in it, and leave.
Piss in the bucket seat and leave. There's just like a puddle left behind. Hala, we love you so much. Okay, we got to go to break. Is that right? Yeah, we're going to go to break. We'll come back after this with more show. All right, we're back. So any headlines in your guys' lives? What's going on?
Aside from the fact that I learned that a dog really starts smelling worse after you wet it and after it's been sprayed by a skunk, not a lot. But that was a big revelation for me.
Well, you did just find some basement tapes of yours. You were at your parents' house and
I
found a bunch of
did.
pictures and tapes.
Yeah, I was downsizing at the house, threw out a whole carload of books and bullshit. I was like, wow, I really used to be quite literate. I had all these poetry books and textbooks, but I got rid of all that bullshit. But I did find some tapes.
You used to read poetry?
Mm-hmm. That was my major, writing.
Isn't it strange, like looking back at some of your old stuff and forgetting that that's who, like those are the that's who you were? You're like, I was that.
Yes.
I know.
I used to draw anime girls.
I was into that too. I drew so many anime girls.
I was pretty good. I still can illustrate a little bit, and I'm trying to get back into it. But like back when I was in high school, I would draw anime girls, and they looked. They did
have big
look
boobs?
like a good anime girl. Like they did look like.
Why was it girls? Why didn't you draw? You know.
I guess
Then
I don't know.
He would have been gay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the girls.
Were you drawing like Sailor Moon?
Like I watched Sailor Moon. I guess no. Sometimes I did draw like Dragon Ball Z type guys.
Okay,
those were the guys. But I would also draw like a girl with like big eyes, and you know that's just what anime is. You know, it's not really like it wasn't truly like a sexual thing. I wasn't like jacking off to the anime drawings I made.
Is
but
this like anime? I just sketched this really quick.
Whoa!
That's like Disney.
Holy
smokes!
It's
like
that's not anime.
mermaid. It's so hard to do a guy's mouth to me. Like women have these big, beautiful lips you could draw, but how do you do a guy's mouth, Brian?
Just do a line.
Okay.
One single line.
Chris is drawing something from memory.
Something.
Oh shit! Are you doing that S?
Oh, my God,
$.
that's so the anime.
There was this book that my brother and I had when we were really young, and it like maybe a video series or something, and it taught you how to just like draw cartoons.
Yeah.
And I never evolved past that, but I still can do like the type of guy that we used to do. And then I had friends that went to another grade school than me, and they would draw like skater versions of this. And so you could still draw these like horrible. I'm going to try to do one. I
learned how to do Garfield with my brother. Drawing is so fun. And I always tried to get kids into it when I babysat because you don't have to do anything. They just sit and draw. But kids don't even want to draw anymore. I'm always like, let's just draw. They sit there, they're working, they're like diligent. I want a child who is obsessively drawing all the time. What are some other things you were into as a kid that you like let go of? I don't think I relate to things I was into that I'm not into now. I guess Dave Matthews Band and like
kids don't want to draw because they can do everything on the computer now. Like all of their stuff is computerized. Here's a little bunny rabbit.
Oh, wow. Look at your
really
sketches.
cool.
Those are good,
I
Brian.
like the dog.
I could do
so
Snoopy.
good.
Dog.
And Chris, I've never seen you draw anything. I learn new things about this man every day. That he used to be into Legos when he was a kid.
Oh, there's
that's
a
really
mouse.
good, Brian. Look at
That's
that
a
little chipmunk.
So good.
that's
So
amazing.
cute. That's good,
Mischievous
Brian.
chipmunk.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I
you
used
could
to
get into
draw.
that art school they used to advertise in magazines where if like you can draw this lady. Remember that?
Yeah.
You know what I
Yes.
just got? Speaking of things that like remind you of who you were. 1 second.
You know, I also do animation, so like it's not crazy that I draw, but like even when you're doing animation, it's like drawing is useless.
I ordered this off eBay the other day because I was like, I just want to go on a nostalgia run, and it is 17 magazine from August 2000.
Is that Aniston?
It's Aniston. I went through all the covers to see which one I remembered. I really wanted to buy Adelia's catalog from the 90s, late 90s, which do not exist online. If anyone has one, I will buy one from you because I really want nostalgia.
How much?
This was like $25, I think, but it's worth
How
it
much
because
will you pay for Adelia's?
around maybe up to upwards of $50 if you can find one from 1998 until 2000. That's the
Oh
only
my
years I
God, my
want, 'cause
sister's
that's when
going to
I
be
was
so
obsessed.
bummed. She just donated all these like vintage Jane magazines and Sassy magazines
Jane,
to
I would
Goodwill.
love-
I know,
but
there was one with
17
Lisa Marie
magazine-
Presley on the cover.
Do we have
That
time to
probably
do the
would've
quiz?
been worth-
We used to do the quizzes.
Oh, the quizzes are so fun. We should just let me just read you the headlines of the 17
they
magazine.
photoshopped the shit out of her though.
Oh yeah, Aniston looks almost older than she does now in
Yeah.
this, which is really weird because in the 90s, like she look like in her
She's
late
older.
30s.
20,
Geller looks
probably
great on the
22
back,
in that
though.
picture.
Oh yeah, Sarah Michelle Gellar was the face of Maybelline for so long. This ad was run probably until 2014. But this is from 2000. This is pre 9/11. I love anything pre 9/11, like right pre. It says at the top, 17 magazine, 5 lines that will get him talking. What? What is that even? What could
We've
that
really got to
possibly mean?
elicit his personality from this guy.
And then what will you wear back to school? 300 plus ideas. Get a head start now. Hair color makeover. All you need to get it right. Boredom busters. 15 super solutions. And then it says action. NSYNC star in their own movie. Then on the other side, it says the ultimate ponytail guide. And then under that, quiz. Will your love last? And then under that, in quotes, no one believes I was raped. And
Oh
this
my
is literally the quote next to Jennifer Aniston's face.
Oh my
no one
God.
over her left shoulder. No one believes I was raped. It looks like she said it, but that's
oh my
not true.
God.
And then under
100%.
on Jennifer's arm, it says friends Jennifer Aniston. Her style picks, her web passion. Web with a capitalized W. Web passion.
Like
no.
internet?
And why she's mad for Brad. Let's go to the quiz.
Let's
my
take that quiz.
Someone
Oh,
took the
somebody
quiz
took the
already. This is
quiz.
exciting. Okay.
God, the girls used to give us the quizzes in grade school.
Wait a second. Okay. So is this everlasting love? Let's take it from me and Chris.
Is this everlasting love for Nikki and Chris?
Your new guy tags along on your cruise trip to Waterworld. What? To the movie Waterworld? I
To
guess
the
this was
water-
out in
To a
theaters.
local water park.
No, I think it's
Oh.
like the local water park.
It's capitalized Waterworld.
Yeah, but I think it's just like a name, a generic name for a water park.
Was that a thing in the 2000s?
Well, let's see what the next part
When
is.
they
Sorry,
meet
Waterworld
him, it's
came
obvious they think you could do better. See their point. He does look a little scrawny in the trunks. Trunks.
Boy.
B,
With
you're slightly disappointed, but whatever. He's your soulmate, not theirs. Or C, you aren't shocked. Your sporty friends just don't get his bohemian ways. What?
oh my God, I don't
Why are
understand
those
any
the
of
only
this.
options?
What does this even mean? Number 2, your summer
Wait,
sweetie.
so which one is it? What do
Yeah,
you do?
what
Do
are
you
you-
have
I
to
mean,
pick?
he's my soulmate, not theirs. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
What year did this
You know, it
magazine come out?
In your
2000.
face.
August
Okay.
Girls
2000.
chat.
The film was 95, so it's not Kevin Costner's Waterworld.
Okay, thank you. Your
So
summer
wait, what did
sweetie.
you pick? A?
I picked B.
Oh, okay. B.
I'm
I'll keep
slightly
track of what you
disappointed in
pick.
them, but he's my soulmate. I want them to like him, so I'm a little disappointed that they're like not good enough, but he's mine, not theirs. It's always very
I don't even
clear
know
what
what
these
you're
are going to be. What?
I have no idea. I have already lost what's happening.
What is this even about?
And how do you win or lose? Like, is there a score at the end?
Okay, the question for this quiz is this an everlasting love? You met
What
over
is
Slurpees
this?
and sunscreen, but will this romance fade faster than your tan?
Oh shit.
Summer.
Okay.
Summer
So this
love.
is a summer love. Okay. Number 2, your summer sweetie is taking Japanese next semester.
Oh,
So you
no.
suggest that the two of you go for sushi once the temperature drops.
Oh my
He
God.
A invites you to
borderline
join him and his
problematic.
friends at Benihana this weekend. B declines. Once soccer season starts, he won't have time for a social life.
Well,
Or
that's not
C
everlasting.
immediately makes a reservation for 2 for Labor Day weekend.
Oh my God. Well, it's got to be C.
Yeah, Chris would make a reservation immediately.
Well,
For
who-
Labor Day weekend.
We need to track
Make
down
sure they have chicken teriyaki.
the person who wrote this and be like,
Jana
what were you?
Siegel.
How old were you? What were you thinking? Were you like
Yes.
trying to hit a deadline? Were you bored?
Her name's Jenna Siegel. How do you spell Siegel?
Jana, Jana Siegel, Siegal.
We must
Please
find her.
investigate. The scruffy goatee thing gives your new cutie a mature look, but you just discovered that he's actually 2 years your junior. Now you're thinking, A, you should introduce him to your best bud's little sis. Or little bro, the biggest fucking all of Fort Myers. B, he's way more mature than that senior you dated who'd perfected the art of burping the entire alphabet.
Okay.
C,
Oh my God.
if he breathes a word about his real age to anyone you know, you'll sick the varsity team on him, football team on him.
Okay. This is a very
don't know what to do.
complicated personality quiz.
I
You would
have no
choose
idea.
B
It used to
because
be
you
like,
don't
are
care.
you a good kisser? And it was like, the simple, straightforward questions.
But like all of these scenarios, I don't feel like I feel like this relates to like 3 people in America.
Yes. You two are on your way out for a day of go-karts and ice cream when your guy receives a letter from his ex-girlfriend who's away at Camp Granada. Again, a
Camp Granada.
proper noun that I don't understand. He A, crams the heart-laden envelope into the drawer with the rest of her unopened notes. B, reads it out loud, trying too hard to make fun of her. Or C, chokes back tears and tells you he needs to be alone for a while. What the fuck?
Who hurt you, Jana? What happened to you?
As you blade down the boardwalk one last time before school starts, your boy gushes about wanting to spend every upcoming vacation together. You A, explain that you're deathly afraid of airplanes, but offer your email address.
Okay.
Email
Avoidant.
address. This is the first
Mention of email address.
B, tactfully mention that Thanksgiving and Christmas mean hardcore family time, but spring break is open.
Wait, that's also avoidant.
Yes, so avoid it. Okay, C, make a mental note to start researching frequent flyer plans and discount travel websites. Websites is spelled W-E-B, capitalized W, and then space sites, everyone. We are in the 2000s. This is just, okay. Piling into the SUV for your 2-hour trip home from your friend Janet's beach house, you realize that one passenger is going to have to rough it on the bus. When your boyfriend volunteers, you A, offer to keep him company. You'd be crazy to turn down even 2 more minutes of bliss. Minutes is in italics.
Oh no.
B, sigh with relief. After 3 days glued to his side, you need your space. Or C, consider tagging along on the bus, but opt to take the car ride home with your girlfriends. I hate this so much. And someone took this quiz, gave themselves a score.
What did they got?
What did
A
they get?
27.
They got a 27. So for
Turns
this girl,
out
it
you're
says,
codependent and avoidant.
a lot of this stuff. Here's another quiz. Are you over the breakup? Let's just do one of these. His birthday was yesterday. You were in no mood to celebrate, and you sent him A, a toadstool, 2 frog tongues, and a lock of your hair, a secret potion to give him disfiguring acne.
What the fuck
Wow.
is this sociopath?
Margaret.
B, a goofy e-card.
E-card.
Mountain.com. A goofy e-card. After all, he took you on a sunset picnic for your birthday. C, nothing. You didn't even remember it was his birthday until the name. Okay.
Who wrote that one?
Margaret.
Magna.
Magnarelli.
Magana. Magnarelli.
Magna.
Pseudonym.
Relli.
That is
And
not
a
a name.
lot
Wow.
of this magazine, I haven't looked through it all, but a
Wait,
lot
the
of
girl's
it.
name is Leslie Snorb.
What the fuck is happening?
I'm still angry about 30 ways to get him talking. Why were we raised with this stupid ideology that we're supposed to fucking pursue men? This is what
Final
screwed us
thought.
up.
Let's look at ways to get him talking, okay? Like, this is why I bought this, because I wanted to... You know what I recently read? There's been this whole influx of memes about... This is why every millennial girl has a fucking eating disorder, because we were told Jessica Simpson was obese in this picture, and we were told Fergie was fat in this picture. And it is true. You look back and you go, no one would ever say they're fat now, ever. People say fat behind closed doors, but no one is openly mocking and saying fat in publications like they used to. And so I was interested to look back and see how I was brainwashed at this very innocent time of my life. Yes.
But don't you think the people that are writing this are just like young idiots too? Like they don't know what's going on.
No, I think they were all brainwashed. We were all brainwashed. Like this was the way it was. I mean, even not so long ago, what did I just say the other day that was like a few years ago? Oh, the thing about Lindsay Lohan getting mocked Miley Cyrus was mocking Sinead O'Connor and her mental health just like in 2014 on Twitter and being like, and Sinead O'Connor had kind of put Miley on blast, so she was
Right.
referencing that, but it was like, it didn't age well at all. It would never happen now. Times are changing. Oh, it's an ad for a cell phone. Go Hollywood with Nokia. Oh, it's the shitty phones. It's so funny. I mean, it's so fun to see this stuff. Hold on. Oh, and this is a ad for The Runaway Bride. Oh, remember that movie?
Look at those two. Things are
Avoid it.
happening right now too that we're going to look back on in like 6 years and be like, holy smokes.
I
What were we
know.
doing?
Yes. I mean, it's there's some things that you do. Anya just sent an article actually to us about how trigger warnings have actually done a disservice to young girls because they've been protected from anything that could ever cause them any harm. Not really. I mean, I don't think trigger warnings really work that well. They just say it and then everyone keeps reading. But if adolescents want to be protected from anything that causes them any discomfort, they can. And so now they are actually adults and they're like witnessing things that are like shocking and they can't handle it. They have no defense to it because they've
like
always had
having an
trigger
immune
warnings.
system. So Jana Siegel, I cannot find anywhere. I even looked up her Facebook. I can't find
Dude,
Jana
I
Siegel.
think
She
these
doesn't
are
seem to
fake
exist.
people.
Margaret Magnarelli is a real person.
No way.
She currently works for either monster.com or some food website. She's a content and senior director. But one thing interesting about Margaret Magnarelli is she helped define the word snarky. Like she's responsible for the word snarky partially.
What a legend.
What? Magnarelli?
If you go into Merriam Dictionary, when it says example and go under the entry for snarky, under the example sentences, Margaret Magnarelli is one of the first people to use the word in a published work.
That's a big deal. Thanks, Magna. Sorry, I thought you were a pseudonym.
If your coworker confronts you, admit you were wrong, but don't over-explain your snarky comment. She may get angrier. Margaret Magnarelli, Glamour Magazine, April 2002. So that's all I know about her.
There's a ton of
Great
content in here. Oh, Jen Aniston. Pit stop. There's a whole
Kate
thing
Bush in
about
the house.
Kate Bush. Was she there?
No,
Did you
not
see her?
Kate Bush. Kate Moss.
Oh, Kate Moss. Yeah, she's all up in here.
Loved her.
I'm
But it's
looking for-
amazing that a writer for 17 magazine would make such an impact on our lives.
You know, I
by
know-
coming
Just
up with
like-
snarky.
Oh, somebody's. Oh, I thought maybe they were marking that page.
I know. So I know the guy who.
How much was this magazine?
Like $25.
Where'd you? What?
Yeah,
Where'd you
I
get
really
it?
wanted it eBay. I'm gonna get more. I wanna get seven. You know, I was thinking about what was I reading when I in the 2000s. I might not have been reading 17 magazine because in 2000 I was 16, and so I might have been like, you read 17 when you're 13. You read Cosmo when you're 16. So I think I might get Teen Vogue or something. Like I don't know what I was reading at this time, but I did remember this. I was trying to find one. Oh God, girls, you remember teen magazines? How boring were the fashion spreads that would fill up like 30 pages of just
God,
boring.
we only had like 6
Well, that's-
outfits
posing.
per month to look at. Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the guy's version of 17
Stuff you could never
magazine
afford. Mm-hmm.
was, you know what I'm going to say, Chris?
Sports Illustrated.
Is it Maxim?
No, Maxim.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
so you would
love
get
it.
Maxim. And the back half of Maxim was just endless ads. It was like an unending stream of ads. I was like, is this a magazine or is this just like a commercial?
Wasn't
It
Maxim
really is a
responsible
commercial.
for men's early eating disorders in the 90s and early aughts?
Maxim's never done anything wrong to anybody.
Yeah, nobody. All they did was give us great content
And those
Jessica
questionnaires with women.
year after
Yes.
year after year.
I am not joking you. Look at this dress right now. Look at this dress.
Okay, it's a
And then-
spaghetti strap, rainbow colored
Holy shit.
or
Is it like
sapphire
confetti?
dress. Oh my God, Nick.
It looks like a multicolored. It looks like an old school, like you know when you were a kid and you can get like a black
Hogs.
desk with like dots on
I
it,
have
and
this
it would be like
exact same dress. That's so the style in here you realize is not that different than the style now. And then
No.
this. Look at this technology, cutting edge technology. Edge, it
Oh
says
my
at the
God.
top. It is
Oh,
a personal
Edge.
TV. TV
Oh
to
my
go. It is the size of a
God.
Game Boy screen. It is black and white. And this is the leading technology in 2000. We've advanced so much. But all the stars are the same, really.
Man,
That
pink.
company
That's
got
crazy.
skunked by the iPhone, or the iPhone got skunked by them. Who stole whose copyright?
Oh, skunked. Yeah. I mean, and look at this.
We're inventing
This is
it.
one of the most disgusting things I could ever think of. It made me go, this is it, but I was thinking it yesterday. Because everyone knows I don't like socks and like sticky or like wet and socks. Who likes wet and socks, right?
What are you saying?
This is an ad for
Nobody.
Rice
Who
Krispie
likes
treats.
wet and socks?
Well, Kirsten used to put her socks in her mouth and be like, "You didn't like this, Nikki?" And I'd be like, "Stop doing that!" And it wasn't because it was like her foot touched it. It's like the cotton of the socks
cotton.
plus like pulling on it with your teeth is disgusting to me. So this ad
my
made me
teeth hurt.
viscerally sick yesterday. It was a sock. And there's a Rice Krispie clog that is on the sock. The stickiness of that is repulsive.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's like a human excrement coming from the sock.
It's
not
why
like
would anyone go, I'm really hungry for a Rice Krispie after seeing that?
That is the biggest. Like, why did they think that would sell more? Is that what it is? Is for Rice Krispie treats?
Yes. I think
Why
this was
did they
the
think-
No
late
way.
90s.
That
Yes.
some
I thought
guys
it was for cool
white
socks.
socks stepping on a
Rice
white
Krispie
Krispie
treats.
treat.
Great as
Holy
strapless
shit.
sandal. It says great as strapless Japanese sandals, best when eaten. You can tell that they came up with this ad campaign like, we'll have it do different things. We'll say it's cool when it's this, but it's bad when it isn't.
Oh my god!
And that's our whole pitch. And then at the very end, there's always like one page where it's like star style. And it says vintage Chloe. Boys Don't Cry's Sevigny, Chloe Sevigny, puts together today's hottest looks from fashion's coolest parts. And this was, didn't she give a real blowjob on screen
Yeah.
Yes.
in Bad Bunny or something? What is it?
Brown
What was
Bunny.
it? Brown Bunny.
Check it
It was
out.
Bad Bunny too. What I've gleaned from this is that we're still obsessed with the same stars. There's Pink in here. There's Jessica Alba. There's
Jennifer Aniston.
Clara Danes.
and I'm not going to even say
Britney Spears.
there was a whole article that I buzzed past about Columbine and if it's too soon to sell the video. And there isn't a video that they ever sold, but they made a whole thing about it. And I would have liked to see that, as a Columbine hound myself. Freddie Prinze Jr., look at all these stars. Christina Aguilera, they're all still stars. Matt Damon.
Freddie Prinze.
Who is that? Remember her?
Yeah, that is.
She was a huge star.
She was in Fresh Prince, I think, right?
Oh, yeah. That's right. Angelina Jolie. Laura Prepon.
You know who's
Yes.
back who I thought
Pacey.
had retired? And
Who?
looking
Josh Hartnett.
good. Yes.
I know he's back. Someone told me that they think
He
that's
looks
who Taylor Swift
30.
should be with.
He's
Yeah, he
like
looks good.
40 or 40
What was he in?
something.
Was he in? Sorry, babe.
Oppenheimer.
Was he in?
He was in the Black Mirror, and he was great in it.
And that's what you
Yes.
saw him in?
No, I saw him
Isn't
in
he in
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he's
has
in
a big
Oppenheimer.
role.
Wow.
Where did he go?
I thought he had retired from, and I know
Virgin
he did
Suicides,
consciously.
He's so fucking good.
Yeah, but he chose to
45 now.
retreat from the spotlight or not take huge roles. And but yeah, he's been in some choice things over the years. But man, he looks great.
Okay. Well,
Much younger
someone
than
said-
you.
Nick, he's listening.
I'm just
He wanted to
considering him for
seek
Taylor
out,
Swift.
he wanted to focus on his family life, is what it says
Oh, is he
in
married?
an interview.
Not for long.
Whoa.
I'm just kidding.
He married
Just kidding.
an English
kidding.
actress named Tamsin Edgerton in 2012.
Oh.
What is everybody's stance on Taylor Swift? Is everybody like completely
Oh.
bought in on this?
2021.
I'm reaching
Yes.
a point where I'm changing, but I don't feel this is a safe space.
You're changing away from her?
No, towards her.
I'm
No,
reaching.
Anya was on board. and
I'm
then I
reaching
think
a
she's changing away.
point where I'm like, is there any other music? Like I spent half an hour in a Starbucks 2 days in a row, and I didn't hear any song that wasn't a Taylor Swift song. And then I started to be like, this is annoying. It's just like they can't play Billy Joel for a half an hour, uninterrupted. And
They should.
and I might even argue that Taylor wouldn't back that choice by businesses.
No, I
Like,
think that she doesn't want to be the only musician. I think that I know that everyone's like she's calculated to be the place that she is today, which I even saw a clip the other day that was saying, do you ever get tired of the fame and everything? And she was, I really liked it. I think I sent it to you, Anya, or maybe I didn't because sometimes I like go overboard with sending you Taylor Swift stuff. But she was like, I would be so stupid to like, all I ever dreamed of was being in a restaurant and having people be like, I can't wait to meet you, and like wanting to line up at my table to meet me as a kid. So now that it's happening, I can never ever say I'm tired. She goes, yes, I do get tired, but I don't get tired of it, and I will never complain about it because this is what I asked for. And I really like that.
Yeah, that's actually a cooler stance than most people.
Yeah.
Like, this is what so many things that people complain about. It's like, you asked for this?
Me all the time.
This
It
is
really
what
made
you
me
signed up
snap out
for.
of my own thing. Like I was in a bad mood yesterday doing something I asked to do. And I was like, shut up. You asked for this. And so I that clip showed up to me in the right perfect moment of like, yes, I'm allowed to get tired. I'm allowed to get a little grumpy, but like you always wanted this and this is what you dreamed of. And maybe it isn't exactly what you thought it was going to be, but like, so what? Your dreams came true.
So why did you ask, Chris?
I'm just curious. In Noah, you're all in, right?
I mean, I'm like 85% in.
Okay.
I'm working my way towards 100.
I will even say that I'm a little overwhelmed by, I'm sick of seeing people's, what I'm sick of, and I just want to be clear about this. There is no part of me, which I would have predicted there would be a part of me being like, oh, so now you all like her. I've been on board since whenever, and now you're finally on board. There's a tiny part of me that does say, oh, guess who was right? Looks like I've been right the whole time because she's the most popular artist that will in a couple months ever have existed. She's going to beat out everyone that's ever existed. It's imminent and it's going to happen in terms of sales, in terms of concert goers. It's going to happen. So
I always get bothered when, like, if there's something that I'm like, oh, that's kind of feels like it's mine.
Yes.
And then it goes into a movie and then everybody's like, I love this song. And it's like, oh, that was just sort of like my thing. And now everybody loves it because it was like in Stranger Things or something.
Right.
And you're like, this sort of stinks. Do you get a feeling of that? Of like, no.
I'm so happy that everyone feels what I feel because the feeling of being a Swiftie and enjoying her music and feeling like, oh my God, this song makes me feel a certain way or represents this feeling I had that I didn't even know I had. And like the love I feel and I want everyone to feel that. It's been this thing that I've been like, why isn't anyone else getting on board with this? It's a fucking great feeling. I'm a pretty basic girl. Why aren't other girls getting on board? And so to see it happening is awesome, but stop bragging about your concert going experience. And I also,
what does that mean though? What your concert? Cause like,
I'm just tired of seeing people's posts about the Taylor Swift shows. I haven't posted 9 separate main feed posts. I did 1 main feed post about going to Taylor Swift. I do post on my stories, but I don't want to hear about I don't want you to pretend like you've been a Swiftie the whole time. Let us know that you've been changed. I like that to go, you know what? Before I wasn't on board and now I'm on board, but don't act like you've been there the whole time, even though actually I don't give a fuck. Just get on board.
What are they supposed to do?
Fun. And I actually didn't like when this happened. Emily Ratajkowski was like, I used to not like her because I thought something popular wasn't cool. And it turns out people were right. And I kind of was like, oh, I didn't like it because anytime any celebrity mentions Taylor Swift, they get their name in a fucking article with Taylor Swift and it goes everywhere. So everywhere I was seeing Travis Kelce tries to give Taylor Swift his number. The Chiefs quarterback tries to give Taylor Swift his number. And I was like, get your fucking name, get her name out of your mouth. I pulled a fucking Will Smith about it.
I like what you said though. Nikki said she doesn't want to learn anything about Taylor Swift from anybody except for Taylor Swift.
Yes, that is it. That's all. Taylor Swift tells us everything we need to know in her songs. We get more than enough from her. Stop trying to invade her life and make assumptions. I've done it in the past. I'm done doing it. But I will say, I don't like celebrities mentioning Taylor Swift so that they can get an article because we all know now if you put Taylor Swift in anything, it will get picked up by the press. And yes, you can say, well, Nikki, you've been in things about Taylor Swift. I didn't mean to get picked up by press by my mentions of Taylor Swift. I didn't calculate it to be like, I'm going to talk about Taylor Swift on my podcast because it's a popular thing and maybe it'll get people talking about, I don't try to jump onto her thing to get my fame more by latching onto her. I only latch onto her because I love her. And I think some celebrities, I'm not calling out Emily Ratajkowski or Travis Kelce, but I think they position themselves to get a headline because they mentioned her. And I think that's gross. And I don't like it. And you weren't a Swiftie before. I don't like you. I am the biggest celebrity Swiftie or one of the biggest. I would argue to say I'm not the biggest celebrity that's a Swiftie. By far, I'm not. There's much bigger names. But I am the biggest Swiftie that is in the celebrity realm.
Yeah,
and if
anyone
would think that I would totally honor anyone else throwing their hat in the ring.
Come at her.
I think I just want to say that I feel like maybe I'm the biggest Swiftie celebrity.
Oh yeah, we didn't even get to you.
I've been a fan since 2006. I actually knew her in middle school, and
You're the biggest Swiftie of somebody who's gotten multiple ideas stolen from him by Hollywood.
I bet you have not.
I'm even, by the way, I'm a late Swiftie. Most Swifties would be like, you only got on board during 1989. Where the fuck were you? Like, she was around for a really long time and doing arenas for before I was on board. So I'm even late to the game. So I don't begrudge anyone being late to the game. Just, actually, I take back everything I said. If you like Taylor Swift, talk about it. I don't give a fuck.
Gates open. Gates open. Come on in.
Come on in. Let's enjoy her together. You don't need to know all her lyrics. It's not a competition, even though I just said I'm the biggest celebrity Swiftie. I really actually don't care. I promise you I don't. That is not a crown I want to wear. I'm embarrassed of it, kind of. I don't want Taylor Swift to associate me with like a person that is just like an obsessive fan. So I'd like her to see me as a normal person. I just enjoy her music a lot, and everyone can, and it's open. There's someone that could start listening to Taylor Swift today that has never heard of her before, and they could be a bigger Swiftie than me tomorrow, just based on how they resonate with her. So that is how I feel.
Do your
Final
research.
word. But no, there's so much Swiftie stuff I don't know. There's many songs of Taylor's that I don't know. So I'm not like the best, most educated Swiftie. It's not about that for me. It's just about how her music makes you feel, and if you love her and like want her to be happy.
Do you feel like she's cast a spell on people? Not in like a malicious way at all, but like there is something else going on
My
here.
mom turned to me during a concert and said, everyone here is in love with her. Everyone's gay for her here. Every woman here wants to be with her. When we were at the show, she goes, every woman wants to sexually be with her. She didn't say sexually, but that was what she meant. Okay, we got to go. Wait,
I think
Brian,
the lesson to learn is, we all know now that we all got crowns, and I think you just need to calm down.
That's Brian's
very
favorite song. All right, that was adorable. Thank you for listening to the show today. Thank you, Chris Convey, for being here. I love you.
So I love you too.
And thank you, Anya. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Noah. My shows are on sale now. NikkiGlaser.com. Come see me in Chicago at the Chicago Theater, September 15th. But I have so many shows all around the country that you can come see me at. I'm so excited. I'm leading up to taping a special, so be a part of that magical thing that happens in the months leading up to a special where every audience laughter informs what I end up shooting. So I would love to see you guys there. I love you, besties. Thank you for listening to the show. Don't be cuh. And I was trying to think of a Taylor Swift lyric, but I failed. There's no just ones. I'm sure the word just. I have a Taylor Swift lyric search engine that I could type in the word just.
Just dance.
Just dance. We'll be okay.